Welcome to the Hillsborough Township Board of Education meeting for Monday, June 26, 2017. We're going to, in accordance with the State Sunshine Law of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Hillsborough Township Board of Education was provided on June 22, 2017 to the Hillsborough Beacon and the Courier News. We're going to move directly to executive session. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, I don't have a roll call on here, but I'll take a roll. Okay, Dr. Schiff, if you can take a roll call.
Mrs. Boguszewski, Mrs. Santafonte, Mr. Cooper.
Here.
Mrs. Haas.
Here.
Mrs. Haley, Mr. Kintz.
Here.
Mrs. Trujillo.
Here.
And Mr. Gillette.
Here. All right, we have a,
And I'm sorry. Yes, I got it.
We have a quorum. Okay. So let me read this. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the laws of 1975 provides that a public body may exclude the public from that portion of a meeting of which the public body discusses certain matters for which confidentiality is required as permitted in Section 7B of the Act. Resolved by the Board of Education of the Township of Hillsborough in the County of Somerset and State of New Jersey as follows. The matter to be discussed is a personnel matter. The matter discussed in executive session shall be disclosed to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to executive session. We should be back by 7:30. All right, thank you, Board. We're back from executive session. Mr. Mahmood, may we have a roll call, please?
Surely. Ms. Boguszewski, Ms. Santafonte, Mr. Cohen, Mr. Cooper. Here. Mrs. Haas.
Here.
Mrs. Haley, Mr. Kintz, Mr. Trujillo,
Here.
Mr. Gillette.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We had some correspondence as listed. Also, we're going to, we're changing things, hopefully for the better, by doing the minutes before superintendent's report. A little change I wanted to make. I'm putting my stamp on the agenda after 6 months. So we had two, yeah, that's a big one. We had two sets of minutes. Let's start with the executive session for June 26th. I'm sorry, for, tonight is June 26th.
Yes.
For June 19th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor? Oh, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. And we have minutes for the public meeting from June 19th, 2017. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay,
Motion passes.
very good. And now we'll have the superintendent's report. Do you have a superintendent's report? Everything? Dr. Antunes? Yeah, say something about graduation, please.
Very short superintendent's report. Graduation was lovely last week. The kids did a great job. The speeches were wonderful. Our board president's speech was very moving. And it's getting ready for another year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go to, help me out there, Mr. Mahmood. Committee reports.
Yep, right to committee reports.
All right, committee reports. Now, we didn't do committee reports last week because we were waiting for minutes on a few committees. Mr. Kintz, do you, did you want to give Operations Committee? Yeah, I'll give them to you. If you want to do it. Pass it down.
Sure.
Pass it down to Mr. Kintz. I know he was really looking forward to subbing for the Operations Committee minutes.
All right, so the Operations Committee met on June 14, 2017.
Yep.
Let's see, in terms of what we had was we had an update on air conditioning for Harris and HMS. So we had feedback with regards to DOE approval and getting plans, the process for plans for getting them approved to the township. We had an update with regards to Honeywell and the work that they did for us for ESIP. We had a confidential matter. And, we had an introduction of the new supervisor of facilities, Mr. Matera, for the supervisor building and ground. For transportation, we had looked at ways from a busing and transportation perspective on how talked about the non-public school transportation. This is a recurring subject from year to year, where the state has a maximum allowable limit of payment that can be paid per student that's been flat for about a decade. And so we were looking to see what opportunities we would have to be able to provide busing. The options are very limited. As everybody knows, last year we were not able to provide non-public school transportation and provided aid in lieu to those families that were impacted, and looks like we're going to repeat that this year until something changes in terms of reimbursement or the maximum allowable amount by the state. We have a new software in the transportation department that is an improvement in terms of looking at routing and monitoring the routes. And so they were talking about the work they were doing there and the potential to improve the efficiency of the routes to yield some savings for us there. And then we had, we had a discussion with regard to the Hillsborough High School track and replacement due to concerns of safety. There were some patches that were made over the past year, and so we're in the process of putting together a proposal or a request for proposals on to replace the track. We had an organization come in to talk about potential development that could be occurring within the city or within the township, and potential opportunities with regard to either adding or shifting school properties. And let's see, we had an update with regard to the district's participation in Sustainable Jersey, which we approved a while ago, and there are quite a few activities that can be done without spending additional money, and then members will also be attending a sustainability summit that just passed, which they just did. And then I'm just looking here. We reviewed an RFQ on environmental engineers. And I think that was
Very good. All right. Do you have anything, Mrs. Haas?
Yeah, I have my delayed education report. My education report, actually, we met on June 13th. It seems like forever ago because we've had another board meeting in between. So a lot of the stuff that was on our committee has already been acted by the board. As everybody knows, our summer reading for the high school, our group reads are on the website, have been for over a week now. Please, everybody, get your books and make sure you know about that. We reviewed and actually approved the calendar for 2018-19, not to rehash that again. We reviewed and approved the local wellness policy. And one of the more interesting things that we did at the Education Committee was we received an update on the strategic plan as it regarded world language. And one of the things that we set out to do when we included the elementary language as well as the grade 5 and 6 language choice, our goal was to get our kids into high school at a higher level than they had previously been getting to high school with. So we learned very happily that now approximately 40% of our students were recommended for level 1 going into high school back in 2012-13. And now we have only 13% of our kids going into high school at level 1. When combining all foreign languages, close to 30% of our students are recommended for level 3 going into high school in 2017-18. So we're very pleased with that. It adds to the prospect of true fluency by the time that they graduate. And one of the things, and it was an initiative of our wonderful world language supervisor, Enrique Pinque, was a program that he started last year, the Seal of Biliteracy. And this actually allows children to get a certification as being bilingual if they can pass a certain assessment that's given. And 82% of our students who took this assessment this year were awarded the Seal of Biliteracy. So we're very proud of all the achievements that we've had in the world language area, and we thank Mr. Pinque very much for all of that, as well as Lisa and all of our curriculum people. But anyway, so I did want to report that out because I'm very, very happy about that. We had a minor discussion on varsity letters. We will be looking at that at a future education committee meeting that our principal of the high school can attend. We discussed the Narcan policy, and we actually decided that we wanted to move ahead with developing a policy in regard to that. We talked a little bit about a summer grading symposium that's going to take place with over 100 teachers attending this summer. So we look forward to that, and we'll report out after that happens. And the rest of the stuff was basically little cleanup items. So that's education.
All right, thank you. I don't think we have, we're not going to do any other, we had HR committee did meet, but I don't think anyone prepared to report on it tonight because we're missing, I think, we're missing Dana, who is going to report on that. She's not here, so we'll leave that for our July meeting. All right. So any discussion, questions on committee reports? I saw Judy, I started taking notes.
I just have a few questions in relation to operations. It seems to me we're always repairing the high school track. Am I mistaken about that? I mean, when we did the turf field, was the track part?
No, there was
when
no
was the
work done
last
on
time
the
that
track.
was approved? That was fixed.
Like replaced?
Yeah.
Or replaced, Mrs. Haas, when we initially did the turf field, so 11
13.
plus, many
12,
years
13
ago.
years ago.
However, we have been doing patchwork, which is not ideal. When we went out for the referendum last year, at that time the board had decided not to add the track. We at that point we wanted to get the field, and the decision was made just for focus on the field. In the meantime, we've been putting patchwork down on that track, but it's not enough. So we talked about continuing to patch it for this season. However, the board, the operations committee discussed looking at cap reserve for the following summer to possibly get it completely repaired. We're in the process of getting quotes, so we've gotten some quotes, but right now, if we start getting quotes for this season, it's just too expensive because the contractors are already lined up to do projects. So the board made a determination, or operations said, let's just repair it as we can, but certainly we want to, it's a high priority moving into the next, next season.
Let me say something about the patches. The track has taken some wear and tear, but it also had not significant, but a noticeable amount of damage that may have happened during the construction of the turf field. Because it was in the area where you would come across the track to get to the turf field. And that's also where people walk across and move across a lot on that area of the track. But the patches that were made are professionally done by this company that just does that kind of work with the same material that's on the track, the same type of surface. So as far as usability and safety, it's all perfectly good for that, but it is wearing and wearing and wearing, and we don't have to want to spend thousands all the time, maybe even 5 figures sometimes when it comes to like extensive patching. Rather resurface and fix the track, so we're looking into that. I just want to make sure people understand that as far as safety and usability with the patches, it's perfectly good and fine, but you don't want to have to keep spending like that to fix them.
And
But
also,
is the track open to the public
It is open to the public.
Yeah,
all the time when it's not being used for events?
yes.
and 2 years ago when we did the planning for the referendum with the turf field, we did look at why not redoing the track. And at that point in time, the feedback was that the track still had a couple years of life, so we wanted to make sure that we got that value as opposed to disposing of that and you know, potentially overcharging too early with regard to the track. And now we're at that point where we need to replace it.
I have two other questions. You said that there was a change in our supervision of buildings and grounds. Is that an Aramark employee?
Yes.
Yes.
And any particular reason or just?
Mayor?
Well,
Yeah. So Mr. Gallagher, who is the district manager, was filling in sort of the vacancy until they found a suitable candidate. So he's like in charge of many school districts. He sat in Hillsborough for a few months, got us through some of these crises that we were facing, and ultimately they were waiting to find a successful candidate. We did interview a few people. We had one person who, quite frankly, lasted with us for almost a week and a half, resigned from Aramark, and now we found this other candidate that has public school experience and has been with us. It's hard for us to say at this point. He's only been with us for like 2 weeks, but he is new, and we're going to give him an opportunity to lead that department.
Yeah, he was from a similar district. It was East Brunswick?
He was, yes. Yes.
Anything else, Mrs.
Yes. My third comment is in regard to meeting with developers. I feel very, very uncomfortable with that. You know, not through anybody's fault here, but I just think that it's our responsibility as a board to determine and dispose of our property as we see fit.
Absolutely.
And that should be the motivating factor, where we feel that a building is no longer a usable life, and that those decisions should not be colored by an offer from somebody who comes in for their interest.
Yep. And
so,
the operations committee was completely aligned with that. We made very clear that any decisions that we would do in terms of the board will decide. It'll be aligned with its strategic plan, and also the method that we would most likely take is the traditional one, where we want to extract that. If we were to dispose of a property, it would be to extract the maximum possible. It would be through a reverse bid, open. You know, the philosophy that we've had, we want to make sure everything's as open and transparent, and you know, and the board is making those decisions.
If I could just add, Tom's correct. We made all that perfectly clear, but I feel that the meeting was useful because it did give us, the operations committee, a chance to learn about other ways of disposing and acquiring property other than just through the traditional, you know, putting it out to bid, using some real-world examples, land swaps and other things that we didn't know that you could do, and how that would even work. So it was interesting. Gave some things to think about in the future. So in other words, let me give you just an example, not a specific example, but example. Sure, let's say you had a school that was older property that was valuable, and you could just put it out to bid, but people can only bid with money. But what if there was a property that the school district wanted, that somebody owned, and could that person bid with that property? In other words, sort of in a way, like they have property to bid with. If you can get a property, you can't get it any other way. Things like that. So it was interesting, but very conceptual.
Well,
Very conceptual. Nothing concrete at all. Very
No
conceptual.
offers were made.
No, nothing like that.
But honestly, school law might preclude something like a land swap.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we wanted to hear. We wanted to hear what the understanding in the community of people that own land, and how they understood school law. Because, you know, law is law, and people have different ideas about law. Your lawyer says one thing, my lawyer says something else.
And then there's a third category called school law, which doesn't always make sense compared to the world of development.
The other piece that was I gained information and some insights too were with all of the COA and requirements for developing more affordable housing. Getting some insights on how much, what the actual quantity of units that would be, and then also what the potential is with the number of additional students that could be in here. That had some value in terms of the additional growth that Hillsborough may see, and That way we would have time to, as things progressed, then we would have time to prepare for those types of things.
Yeah, but I think we have to be very careful that we as a school board not get into making the planning decision for the town.
Absolutely.
Oh,
You know,
right.
and in terms of COA and all of that, that's not ours,
No.
No, I
you
know.
know? Yes, that's not ours.
But we have to deal with the aftermath of it.
Yes, we
Yes.
do. But at the same time, that should not be any, you know, any consideration in terms of what we do. These are our school assets, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to protect those assets. Even if we were going to do something like a land swap, we would have to be fortified with appraisals.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
not taking developers' words for what this
Right.
is worth and what that's worth. So,
That's, you're
you
right.
know,
You
it
got
just
that right.
concerned me to see that, so just wanted to.
Any other discussion on committee reports? Okay, I'm going to go to the public comment for, this will be public comment for new business or comments on the action agenda. Boy, I'm trying to get that right. New business or action agenda from the public. Okay. Board, new business. Okay, I guess we don't really have any new business. We usually save that to the end. Action agenda we'll discuss as it comes up. So I'll turn it over to, who's that over there? Oh, yeah, Dr. Antunes for the action agenda.
Okay, the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the education agenda as follows. Motion to approve professional travel-related expenses, to affirm the superintendent's HIB cases, to approve submission of the FY 2018 IDEA grant application, to approve curriculum writing for school counseling, to approve NGSS science curriculum and common assessment writing, approve the science online assessment training, approve the ELA curriculum and common assessment writing, motion to approve participants of the summer grading symposium to take place on August 15th, motion to approve the Quest, Connect Ed, and RVCC NGSS Summer Institute participants, motion to approve the teachers to administer the model screening for new ELL students, motion to approve the world language curriculum writing, motion to approve a staff member that was overlooked at the last board meeting for the RVCC concurrent enrollment, and approve the policy 8505, the wellness policy, for second reading.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Very good. Discussion? Any of those items? In the discussion portion right now, I'll clarify something from the last meeting. We had a vote on the class rank policy, some revisions to class rank policy, which only really codified what we've already been doing. They were minor. The vote on that policy was 3 in favor, 2 against. We weren't 100% sure whether that passed according to our bylaws of what you need to pass a policy. But a simple majority does approve a policy. So that policy from the previous meeting did pass. That was the class rank policy. Okay, so with that out of the way, any discussion on this education agenda? Okay, so seeing none, roll call, Mr. Mahmood.
Surely. Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Kintz?
Yes.
Ms. Trujillo?
Yes.
Mr. Gillette?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Antunes, HR.
Okay, it is, the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the Human Resources Agenda 10.1 to 10.14 as follows. To approve the resolution to create 2 special education positions at Hillsborough Middle School and Woods Road School effective for September 1st. Motion to approve retirements and resignations is listed. Motion to approve co-curricular advisor. Motion to approve extra coverage. To approve contract changes. Motion to rescind salary change for obtaining doctorate credits. Motion to approve reappointments. Motion to approve appointments for 17-18. Motion to approve a buddy. Motion to approve renewal of unaffiliated staff members. Motion to approve renewal of unaffiliated administrators. And motion to approve coaches. And a motion to approve summer work. Motion to approve the summer enrichment program stipends and summer athletic camps. Motion to approve the extended school year staff. Motion to revise the 2017-18 salary changes for obtaining doctoral credits. Motion to authorize the superintendent to approve contracts for non-administrative personnel for the summer. Motion to approve policies and regulations for a second reading, including policy 3115 discipline, 3160 physical examination, 4160 physical examination. One is staff, one is support staff for both of those, as well as the regulations.
That's it. That's a lot.
That's a
All
lot.
right. Motion.
So moved.
Second? Okay. Brett and Judy.
Got it.
All right. Any discussion? There was a lot there. Mr. Kinst?
Just a clarification, for items 10, 14, and 15, the summer enrichment program and the summer athletic camps, I believe those are paid for by fees. Is that correct?
The summer enrichment program is yes, that's the 2-week program that takes care of itself.
Yep.
And summer athletic camps, I believe, is the same, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Any other discussion on all those many items? All right. Seeing none, you know what to do, Mr. Mahmood.
Yes, sir. Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Kinst?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Mr. Gillette?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Let's go to operations agenda.
The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the operations agenda 11.1 to 11.4 as follows. Motion to approve monthly financial report. Motion to approve the monthly bills. Motion to approve line item transfers and the cafeteria lunch prices for 17-18.
Okay. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Maybe
was
Judy.
first, Brett was
Oh,
second.
okay. All right. Either order would be fine.
I will defer.
Discussion on any of those operations items? Nothing? All right. Roll call.
Sure. Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Kinst?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Mr. Gillette?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Let's go to the public, for public comment for old business, or any other business, I guess we could say at this point. So this is their last opportunity.
Facing
Oh,
this way tonight.
state your name, your affiliations, or whatever you think is relevant.
Amy Salinger, Hillsborough Education Association Treasurer and teacher at Otton Road School. We just wanted some clarification on the 2018-19 calendar and whether or not it passed last week. We're getting conflicting reports.
Yeah, the calendar passed. We didn't have, we were fully sure, we were fully confident last week that it did pass.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
as
it's
far as
done.
we maybe, and I apologize if we didn't communicate that
Right.
well to the public, but we never had any question about that. That
Okay.
passed. Our question was only on the other one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Doug Bayless, Hillsborough resident. 2 questions.
Yes.
The in-service days, there's a couple that are on a Thursday. Would there be a reason why they're not on a Friday or a Monday? I was wondering if
The in-service days for...
where the teachers have their training, but the kids have off. Because on a Thursday, then it becomes a bit awkward, and you have to come into school on a Friday, and then...
Okay, so would you mean at the beginning of the school year?
Well, this one would be for April 2018. That's
Oh,
what I was
April,
thinking.
okay.
Yeah, I know one that...
Okay, all right, so let me, I can clarify, yeah. So when we have the April Teacher in Service Day, that day is on the traditional Bring Your Child to Work Day. And we have very low attendance that day. So low that we've in past years thought about closing school that day. And then finally we did decide to close school that day and have a teacher in service day on that day since we had such low attendance.
Okay, thank you.
That clarifies
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Why
thank you.
was that Thursday?
Yeah, and the second question is
Yeah.
for standardized testing for kids going into kindergarten. I know some schools have it, some don't. It's not standardized, but some have testing, some don't. Is there any reason why there isn't standard or testing across all the schools?
The schools in the district or the schools in the state?
district. The schools in the district.
Typically, all new students do get assessed. So if there's something that's not conforming to that, then I would ask that you send me an email offline and see how I can address that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other old business or?
No, just for the kindergarten, it used to be done, some schools did it after the start of school. Most of the schools now move it before school. So it might be that, it's not that they're not going to get assessed, it might be that they're still doing it after school just because of scheduling issues. I know that's how they did it.
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, so it would be, I guess the more ideal time would be in the spring before the next school starts, so, because then you have time to
Right,
prepare.
some schools have started to do that, but some schools, like I know Hillsborough Elementary, where my son's going to start next year, they used to do it the first week or two of school. That was not ideal, but because of scheduling and everything, they have moved it to before, so depending on what school you're at, it's not that it's not going to happen, it just may be because of scheduling and everything, they couldn't get it done before the school year, and they'll do it the first or second week of the school.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Old business from the board. Tom Kinston.
It's old business because it occurred last week, but it's new business because it's looking forward. With regard to the replacement board member, I think there may be some value as when we do the interviewing, if we provide each of the applicants a set of questions that can help inform, provide insights to the board members. So anything from what experiences, talents, education that they'd be able to provide to the board, what they feel the district's greatest successes, what do they think are the biggest challenges, how would they balance the needs of students, staff, taxpayers, parents. So if we come up with a set of questions ahead of time, it can help prepare and provide both the board members and the public greater insights into why they're choosing to apply.
So, Tom, you're talking about publishing a set of questions so that they'd be able to see them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Before
you sent me
before
an
the
email
meeting.
about this, but I didn't really understand that part till just now. I thought you meant that we'll just have a set of questions from the dais that we'll know.
No, I'd like to
ask.
provide a set of questions.
I thought we did last time.
I don't recall.
I don't remember how formal it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like publicized, but I think we may have sent a letter to the people sort of in the form of a, thank you for your letter.
Yeah.
Here's what we'll probably be talking
I think
about
you're
or
right,
something
Judy.
like
Yeah,
that.
she's right.
But
I
you would
think- no, I
have
think-
it in the file
Yeah.
for
I'll take a look.
2011.
I'll take a look.
Well, there would
if
be
it
about
existed.
10
But
days in between.
I think it's important to be consistent
Yeah.
on
Right.
the assumption that we have more than one applicant.
So if we have about 10 days in between the day that we asked for applications to be in and the thing to send to those people at their contact email or whatever.
I mean, the analog would be if you think, in a typical election year when somebody's actually running for a position, they have time where they either submit letters to the editor or they have a set of questions that the Beacon provides so people can get a better understanding. So that's more kind of in that spirit, just for not to be used as selection criteria, but just for ways to help inform and provide insights to the board members who will have to select a board member replacement. That's all. Thanks.
Any other old business? Judy? No? I just want to also echo what Dr. Antunes said earlier that about congratulations to our graduates. I did attend graduation this year. I usually don't, and I did enjoy it. I didn't know I was going to have to lead my line and have to watch Ms. Bingard over there, how she led her line and try to time the steps. That was all. That was like you coming here today. I did too. It's like not knowing until the last second. Like what? I have to. Okay, but I got through that. So.
Well, if you had come to previous graduation.
No, but I didn't know I was. Yeah, I didn't know I led. Did you lead?
I don't recall.
Yeah, he doesn't even recall. I didn't know that. I don't know who led that line, but I thought Dr. Schiff was on one line, and she'd be on the other line leading, but that's okay. But congratulations to the graduates. And it was a nice graduation, and good job, everyone. All right, and thank you to the board members that attended, Ms. Trio and Mrs. Haas and Mrs. Santafanti. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.